Hello, Simon Gawesworth from Rio Products. Today talking to you about our InTouch long mow tips. What are long mow tips, you may ask? Well, first of all, a mow tip is a type of tip that you put onto a Skagit line if you're salmon fishing, and a long mow tip is just a long one. And the whole point about mow tips is that they are heavy tips and powerful tips designed to cast big flies like this. If you're fishing big flies, you probably want a Skagit line and you probably want some kind of mow tip. These long mow tips are all 15 foot in length. That's what makes them long. And they're ideal for long rods. So right here now I have here a 14 foot 9 weight rod. That's a long salmon rod, long Spey rod. Anything over about 13 and a half foot in length, you probably want a long mow tip. And the reason is if you have too long a rod and too short a tip, when you make a Spey cast, you can blow your anchor, you can lose the grip on the water on a Spey cast. And if that happens a lot, which it tends to do with long salmon rods and Spey rods, then you go to these long tips. So that's why you use the long mow tip. The mow tips are in 3 different families. This is our medium mow tip. And the medium mow tip, this is the full floating one, so it's 15 foot of floater. They're variable lengths between floating and sinking. So this one is all floating. This one is also 15 foot long. But this has 10 foot of floating and 5 foot of sink tip, okay? And so on, and so it goes on like that. So this is a 7.5 and 7.5 foot, and it keeps changing like that by about 2.5 feet each time until you get to the full 15 foot of sinking. And that is what the set is. There's 6 tips in this set. As I said, this is the medium. So the mediums are good for Skagit lines, anything up to about 575 grains. So if you've got a Skagit line 450 to say 550, 575, then put the medium tips on. These all weigh 165 grains. If you have a Skagit line that's 550, 575 grains and heavier, say up to about 650 grains, well, then you want to go to the heavy mows. The heavy mows will all weigh 210 grains, and the sinking section of these is built with T14. And then if you have a really heavy lines, like you have a Skagit line of 650, 675, real heavy stuff, you want to go to the extra heavy long mow tips. And those all weigh 255 grains, and their sinking section has T17 in it. And so that is the family of our InTouch long mow tips. So look out for them, particularly if you have long Spey rods, and you can get them from your local Rio fly shop, or you can also get them online.
Rio, make the connection.